It got a little scary on Sunday for the Yankees, but a series win is a series win.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/lockedon and use code all lowercase LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. I'm alone today. Brian has the flu. He wanted to do the show. I insisted he rest up and get ready for the week. So I'm here alone talking about how the Yankees did this weekend. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like the videos, hit the bell so you're notified when those videos go live. Coming up on today's show, it's Minors Monday, and we have an injury update that was revealed on Sunday and seems to be pretty important. Is Aaron Judge back? Spoiler alert, yes. But first, let's discuss this series against Tampa, because in recent years, going to Tampa and playing in Tropicana Field has been a nightmare for the Yankees. And it was not a nightmare this weekend, though on Sunday, it felt like it could have been a nightmare. We'll get to that later in the segment. So we're doing things a little differently because I'm pretty sure when we recap the weekends, we start with Sunday and go back to Friday, but we're going to go in the opposite direction. We're going to start with Friday because Clarke Schmidt, 6 2/3 innings, didn't give up a run. The Yankees won 2-0. It was actually one of those games when the offense not really doing anything was okay because the starting pitcher in the bullpen kept the opposite team or the opposing team at bay. And it was a really great game for Clarke Schmidt. The biggest complaint about Clarke Schmidt from Yankee fans is that he doesn't last long enough in games. Well, he pitched into the 7th inning against the Rays. After pulling a Mike Mussina in his last start or the previous start when Boone wanted to take him out and he kind of waved him off, Clarke is showing some fire. And I like that. I like that a lot. The Yankees actually had a feature on their TikTok and Instagram of Clarke Schmidt mic'd up. And I think it was 8 minutes long. It was a lot, but he is goofy. He's goofy. He's fun. He gets along with his teammates. They seem to love him. He seems to love them. The camaraderie on this team this season, everything just feels different. And obviously winning helps. The Yankees have one of the better records in baseball. A lot of teams have good records. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit also because for Locked On, we do an MLB ranking every week. And I was looking at how some teams were doing because I'll admit it, I wasn't really paying attention to the Royals, but they have 24 wins. How did that happen? So anyway, back to Clarke Schmidt. Kevin Cash, manager of the Rays, said this about Clarke Schmidt. Schmidt was really, really good, cutting it, sweeping it, just working balls away from righties and into lefties, a lot of late movement. It felt like he was placing the ball where he needed to. The cutter-sweeper combination, it's a really good pitch. Then he added, he's gotten away from his fastball for good reason because those other two pitches are really good. He just kind of plays keep away with the fastball, but the cutter and sweeper he attacks with, and he could pitch right off that. Speaking of that, Schmidt threw 87 pitches, 29 sweepers, 27 cutters, 18 knuckle curves, 13 sinkers. What didn't I mention? Yeah, he led the game with 14 swings and misses, 5 each on the sweeper and cutter, and 2 each on his knuckle curve and sinker. So maybe I'm not so crazy with my suggestion of keeping Schmidt in the rotation when Cole comes back. People were so quick to choose him as the odd man out, but he has been one of the more solid pitchers for the Yankees so far in 2024. As for the offense, it was only Anthony Rizzo. He had an RBI single and a solo home run, and he looks to be past that opening month funk. It looked like he was still feeling the effects of what happened to him last year, and we're nearly a year removed from the Tatis incident, and he seems to be getting going. which is good for the Yankees. Now let's move on to Saturday. Not a great game. Let's just be frank. Who's Frank? Why does he always get summoned for these things? Nestor Cortez is now 1-4 on the year. His ERA is over 4, 4.02. So it's not like he's, it's not like it's a 4.89. It's just barely over a 4, but it's still over a 4. He can't get wins. He only lasted 5 1/3 innings. He gave up 2 home runs. The offense was missing again. They only scored 2 runs on Saturday. And while it was fine that they scored 2 runs on Friday, because Schmidt, Birdie, Weaver, and Holmes held it down that night, it didn't help when the bullpen and Nestor couldn't keep the Rays off the bases on Saturday. So that was just a bummer of a game. But the Yankees came back on Sunday, and it got scary there for a second. We'll talk about that. Volpe leading off with a triple and losing his helmet a la Eduardo Nunez. He lost it before he even reached second base, which was pretty funny. And then Soto knocked him in with a sac fly. You got to love that, right? And Volpe has been quietly turning things around for the past about week. I think he's batting over 350 because he went through a lull. People were a little worried about that because they moved him into the leadoff spot, and he did okay right away. And then he kind of fell into a bit of a slide there. And now he's picking things back up. But that's normal because he's a baseball player and they're not playing at, they're not dialed up to 100 all season. It's very rare for a player to go from start to finish and be great the entire time. Everyone goes through slumps. Some of them happen at different times in the year. Speaking of that, Aaron Judge hit his 10th home run of the year. Is he back? Dare I say it? He's back. He's back. He just needed some time. And we made this point on the show a few times. If this slump of Judges happened in the middle of the season, people would be mentioning it, but it wouldn't be such a big deal. But because it happened to start the season, different pundits and radio hosts and columnists were wondering, is the Judge contract the worst ever? No, guys, it's not. He's fine. He'll be fine. He's at 10 home runs on May 12th. That's great. He could pick things up. And he will. And it looks like he is, because he's not only just hitting home runs, he's also hitting doubles and singles. So, yeah. Speaking of home runs, though, Jose Trevino, 2 home runs on Sunday. That's not something you see all the time. That was pretty cool. And I enjoyed the second home run because, as I said, this game got scary. That second home run kind of sealed the deal for the Yankees. Jahmai Jones hit his first MLB home run, got the ball back from a family in the stands. Now, the scary part of the game, the Yankees were up 6-0 going into the 7th inning. The 7th inning. And it was almost like deja vu. At the end of the 7th inning, the Rays were only down 6-5. The Yankees had a game like this in Tropicana Field. Was it last season where they had a big lead and then they coughed it up and lost? They also had those games against the Marlins and the Rockies on Sundays, to end the series. Not fun, but it didn't happen this Sunday because it was Gleyber Day. In the top of the 8th, Gleyber Torres hits it's the biggest home run of the season for him. Obviously, only the second home run for him this season, but it was a big one. It stretched the lead out from 6-5 to 9-5 and made it a lot easier for the Yankees to win the game. As I said, Trevino added that extra run, so it was 10-5. The game ended 10-6. Luis Gil, didn't even mention him. He pitched on Sunday, did really well, earned his 4th win, lowered his ERA to 2.51. Little scary moment. He got hit with a comebacker, but he was okay. Through 6 scoreless innings. And I know my co-host is not here to defend himself, but he thinks Luis Gil should go in the bullpen. Stuff-wise, yes, but I would much rather have Luis Gil in the rotation, throwing 6 scoreless innings and mowing guys down, than having Nestor doing his up and down. We don't know which Nestor we're going to see from start to start in the rotation. I don't know what the answer is, but I don't think I want Gil going anywhere. Let me know below what you think about that. Maybe not Nestor, because there are two guys in the rotation who, well, no, let's see. You can't do that to Stroman because they signed him in the offseason to be a starter, where Nestor came out of nowhere. And yes, he did really well in 2022, but we haven't really seen that Nestor. We've seen 2 glimpses of it, but for the most part, it's iffy watching Nestor Cortez starts. But let me know what you think about that. In segment 2, it's Miners Monday. I'm going to let you know how things are going on the farm. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, and hit the notification so you know when our videos go up. And reply to the pinned comment on our videos Monday through Thursday if you want your questions answered for Fan Mail Friday. Or you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. The link is in the description. You'll get texts from us. You can text us questions. There's a 14-day free trial. It's a lot of fun. So again, coming up next, let's find out what's going on the farm. Policygenius is the country's leading online insurance marketplace. It saves you time and money so you can provide your family with a financial safety net starting today. With Policygenius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $292 per year for $1 million of coverage. Some options offer same-day approval and avoid unnecessary medical exams because life can be unpredictable, and Policygenius can take away the worries of what your family would do if something happened. Policygenius gives you unbiased advice from a licensed expert support team. They have no incentive to recommend one insurer over the other, so you can trust their guidance. They have thousands of 5-star reviews on Google and Trustpilot from customers who found the best fit for their needs with Policygenius. So check life insurance off your to-do list in no time with Policygenius. Head to policygenius.com/lockedonmlb or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you can save. That's policygenius.com/lockedonmlb. Welcome back to Locked On Yankees. Locked On Sports Today is a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the noise. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news. Streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Don't forget, you can catch every pitch of the Yankees' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. So let's see, how are things going down in the minors? Well, Scranton's doing really well. They won another series. Last week, we spoke about how they won a 6-game series, and I believe they swept the 6-game series, right? I'm not confusing Scranton with another team. They won this one 4-2 over the Rochester Red Wings, which makes them 27-11 on the year. Pretty cool. There weren't any standout performances from what I could read. I was going really fast through the system, but 27-11 is good. Now for Somerset, Oswaldo Peraza is with them. He's hit 2 home runs so far. He hit another one on Sunday. He was 1 for 2 with a run driven in. He scored twice and walked twice. It was a doubleheader. He only played in the first game. They split that doubleheader, but they won the series over the Altoona Curve 4-2. And Agustin Ramirez was the only Somerset hitter to hit safely in both games of that doubleheader. And that series win put them at 500 on the year. They're 16-16. Hudson Valley, oh boy, the poor Renegades were in the midst of a 7-game losing streak on Sunday when Jared Cerna hit the game-winning double in the top of the 9th, they were on the road, to snap that streak and lift Hudson Valley to a 4-3 win over the Aberdeen Ironbirds. So they finished that series 1-5. We talk about the 6-game series in the minors and how hard that's got to be every week to have series that are that long. And finishing 1-5 is not as bad as getting swept, but pretty darn close. And it took until the 9th inning of the last game to prevent that sweep. So good for Jared Cerna. We've spoken about him. Steve did a feature on Jared Cerna last season. I think if you type in Locked On Yankees Jared Cerna, you might be able to find it on YouTube. And the thing I love about Jared Cerna is he's tiny. He's tiny. He's one of those guys. He's like an Altuve. And you root for those types of players to make it in Major League Baseball because there are so many huge dudes in Major League Baseball that it's fun to see the shorter guys make it. Maybe not Altuve because he's been a thorn in everyone's side for how many seasons, but when they're on the Yankees, it's nice to see it. As for the Tampa Tarpons, they lost their series to the Clearwater Threshers. They are now 10-23 on the season. Some bright spots from this week: George Lombard Jr. and Roderick Arias got hits on Sunday, but the problem with the Tampa Tarpons in that game against Clearwater, they out-hit the Threshers 9-7, but they lost the game 8-2. What does that sound like? Not recently, but it sounds familiar. A Yankees squad getting people on base but then not scoring them? Is it a system-wide problem? I'm just kidding. I'm just being sassy. George Lombard Jr. which round was he in last year? Now I can't remember. But it was very sweet during spring training when he was playing with the big Yankees and his dad coaches for the Tigers and they did the lineup exchange at home plate. That's nice to see. I always love seeing kids come up whose parents played in Major League Baseball. We're seeing it now with lots of people that I can't believe have children old enough to play in Major League Baseball now. It used to be where I had people the same age as me playing baseball, and now I have people the same age as me having children playing baseball. The first one was Vlad Guerrero. I think he's younger than me, right? Vlad Sr., I think, is 6 months younger than me. And Vlad Jr., as you know, he's been in the league a while. So yeah, thank you for that, Vlad. Now here's an injury update. Lou Trevino experienced right elbow inflammation in late April and was shut down for 3 to 4 weeks. The Yankees just revealed this on Sunday. Boone told everyone. Thanks for letting us know about that. Because every time we mention the bullpen, we talk about how certain guys are coming back. You have Efros working his way back. You had Trevino working his way back. He still is. This is just a setback. Boone said that he won't throw for a couple more weeks and then we'll start ramping up again, and that the doctors feel like it's kind of minor. He saw Dr. Neil Elatrach, who performed, I believe he's the one that performed the Tommy John surgery on Trevino last May. And Elatrach and the team doctors confirmed there was no damage to his UCL. They did the imaging, so he just needs to stop throwing for a little bit and then ramp it up. So hopefully that won't lead to anything else happening, because the Yankees bullpen needs some help after some of the performances this weekend. I was talking about how Caleb Ferguson's looking better, and then gives up 4 runs in that 7th inning on Sunday and makes me look silly. How dare you, Caleb Ferguson? So coming up in segment 3, I forgot the Yankees were off on Monday. I thought they were starting the series with the Twins on Monday, but they're starting on Tuesday, so it's not going to be a preview. We're going to talk about moms. Even though it's technically Monday, I'm recording this on Sunday, and I have a funny story to tell you. We are nearly a month and a half into baseball season, so don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond in your prize pick entries today. Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs, take your pick of more or less and add them to your prize pick entry today. Or you can get in on the playoff action and win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level during basketball's postseason. Prize Picks has something for every sports fan, from baseball to basketball to League of Legends and everything in between. You can pick Jalen Brunson. You can pick Aaron Judge. You can pitch. Well, can you pitch? You can pick Connor McDavid, Artemi Panarin, and Jude Bellingham all in the same entry. Prize Picks is the best way to get action on sports in more than 30 states across the country, including California, Texas, and Georgia. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $100 with just a few taps. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code Locked On MLB for a $100 first deposit match. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV in the free Fire TV Channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today, now available in the free Fire TV Channels app. And remember, you can catch every pitch of the Yankees' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. So as I said, I forgot the Yankees weren't playing. Why did I think they were going directly to Minnesota? Maybe because I don't know. I figured it wasn't that long of a flight and they'd be playing tomorrow, but they're not. They're not playing till Tuesday. So we're not going to do a full preview until Tuesday's show. So I have to tell this story. As I'm recording this on Sunday night, it's still Mother's Day, and I would like to tell this story because it still cracks me up nearly 15 years later. Me, my dad, and my brother were the sports fanatics in our family. And my mom would tag along with us to games and stuff, but she didn't go as much as we did. My dad, my brother, and I went to Dwight Gooden's no-hitter. My mom didn't go, and we gave her ticket. Actually, we gave her ticket to Freddie Says. For some reason, he didn't have a ticket, and he was asking people for them. And my dad gave him the extra ticket. He didn't sit with us. He just walked around the whole time with his pan and had everyone banging it, but we got him into the stadium. So mom wasn't as crazy about sports as we were, but in June of 2009, a former neighbor of mine got married. She's a Yankee fan. Her husband is a Red Sox fan from Rhode Island, and their reverend made it a point to mention how she was a Yankee fan. He was a Red Sox fan. It was the whole sermon leading up to their wedding vows talked about the differences between Yankee fans and Red Sox fans. So we were in line to meet and say congratulations to Amy and her husband and meet his parents because we had never met them. And it was all like, so my mom mentioned how we were also Yankee fans, and Matt's father, the groom's father, said to my mom, "Yeah, well, we're in first place." And my mother says, "You can party in June, we'll celebrate in October." When I tell you that if I had a mic, I would have dropped it, and that I nearly fainted after she said that, I'm not kidding. This is a woman who always says, "Oh, you guys are too crazy about sports. You let it really, how are you like that?" But well, someone was listening to us yapping about sports, because who would say that? And he was like, "Oh, how dare you?" They were bantering back and forth, but I just could not believe she said that. And then what happened? So I always found it amusing that she would always say, "Oh, you guys are crazy. You're too into it." Meanwhile, we went to later that season, actually, we went to the Yankee game on my 35th birthday. And it just so happened that Andy Pettitte was starting that night. My mom loves Andy Pettitte, still loves him. Anytime she sees him on TV, she freaks out. And she was yelling from the upper deck. They played the Rangers that night and just yelling and screaming. And I'm like, "Ma'am, you're the one who claims you're not into sports. Calm down." So those are my mom's stories. They're pretty funny. But that wedding story it's like, "Yeah, keep celebrating in June. We'll party in October." I think that's what she said. Yeah, celebrate in June. We'll party in October. Do any of you have memories of your moms with regards to sports? Because I know a lot of times the sports bond that you have with a parent is, for the most part, between a father and a child. But you do have people who learn to love baseball through their grandmothers, through their mothers. So if you have that type of relationship with your mom or your grandmother, let me know in the comments. I want to read your stories about any moms who were diehard Yankee fans, baseball fans, because I think that's fun. Like I said, my mom's not a diehard, but she listens. She knows what's going on, and she can talk trash. which is pretty funny. Now, what was the other thing I wanted to mention? Oh, yes, I mentioned this before, right. So we do a ranking, power ranking of baseball teams. And I was looking through the rankings and, I cover the Yankees. I don't write about the rest of the league anymore, so I don't know what's happening. Last year, I was writing about the rest of the league, so I knew what was going on with other teams. And because I'm not doing that anymore, I'm not really paying attention to the other teams until the Yankees play them. I had no idea that the Royals were doing as well as they're doing. I actually could not believe when I saw what their record was. And if you look at the standings, there are a bunch of teams that are doing well. Is it going to stay that way? Who knows? But it's interesting to see how this season is playing out so far. The Phillies are unbelievable. They're kind of surprising. Just how well they're doing. They're just firing on all cylinders and everything is going well for them so far. The Dodgers are the Dodgers. They're going to be fine. Yankees are doing well despite what everyone thinks. The fact that the Yankees are doing this without Garrett Cole is astounding to me. And as we said last week, they started this way without Garrett Cole and basically without Aaron Judge for the first month. So, and now Judge is picking things up and they just keep rolling along. Just keep winning series. That is the important thing. Saturday's game was not fun to watch, but winning 2 out of 3 in Tropicana Field, as I said at the top of the show, that place was a nightmare for them for the past how many seasons? I don't know about you, I would dread every time I saw that, oh God, the Yankees are going to Tampa. And it doesn't feel like that anymore, which is nice. Although it did get a little hairy there on Sunday in that 7th inning. It did feel like a little bit of deja vu, thinking to yourself, oh no, it's going to be one of these really bad Sunday games where they're getting out of a stadium and they just implode. And they did not. Again, thank you, Gleyber Torres, who likes to hit on Mother's Day. He's done it before. He did it again. Oh, wait, was that a Father's Day? Wait, now I'm confusing that, aren't I? Was he wearing blue on that walk-off or pink? Anyway, he likes the days that honor parents, Gleyber. So tomorrow's show, like I said, we will preview that series against the Twins, who are also doing well. So that'll be interesting for the Yankees. Last year was the first time that they lost the season series to the Twins since 2002. We'll see if the Yankees can bounce back from that defeat. One more time, you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. There's a link in the description under our YouTube videos and a 14-day free trial. You'll get text from us. You can text us questions, or you can leave your questions under the pinned comment, also below our YouTube videos, to get your questions answered for Fan Mail Friday. We do it every single Friday. It's a lot of fun. The insiders get priority during Fan Mail Friday. They get their questions answered first, but we'll still answer your questions from YouTube. And remember, you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias, and we, hopefully, if Brian's feeling better, we'll see you tomorrow.